gonna slack. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'll always bring it back. You know I'll always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'll always bring it back. You know I'll always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'll always bring it back. You know I'll always bring it back, 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 back. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'm never gonna slack. You know I'll always bring it back. You know I'll always bring it back, 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 back.
Where the fuck is it? Crap. This is what was missing. It is connected. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay.
Yeah, it's working? Yeah, it's working.
It's working, but now it's from the microphone on the computer. Guys, sorry, my mistake. We're having audio issues, as you can see, and it's just so this can keep on going. You're listening to us from the microphone on the computer. So they're gonna continue talking while I'm moving around here and trying to get my mixer connected back to the computer, and then we have. Hold on. They're saying that the audio is great. So hold on. Let me tap this microphone here. Yeah, it's great. It's the one from the computer. It's gonna get even better. So hold on. You guys can continue talking and I'll
Okay. Can you drink as well?
You can
Because
drink.
you know it's a
Sure.
Pivocast.
Sure.
So,
you can
okay.
drink.
So this is Pivocast. Felipe is our main head here, literally. It's trying to fix the sound. 3 Brazilians living in Czech Republic.
Mm.
Pivo means
Beer.
Pivocast.
There you go.
What
So-
do you drink today?
Today this is a dark Cosel. Actually, it's my favorite dark beer.
Dark lager.
Dark lager. Not so strong, not so sweet like many dark beers are. Really good for a mild weather like spring or fall.
Now
Rainy
the
day.
audio should be
Rainy
much
day like it is
better.
now. Yeah.
Can you guys confirm that the audio is so much better now that if I tap here, that's what you hear. So now it's fixed. I just needed to unplug and plug it back in.
Yeah.
Normal IT stuff,
So
right?
now you do
Windows, right? You just
ASMR.
restart and then everything works again.
So we can do ASMR with the microphones now.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was saying right before we started, I said, I'm pretty sure we are forgetting something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like looking around. I'm like, what is it that's missing? So I would like to do a kind of a re-intro here. I was saying hello to all of you. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for watching us. We're 3 Brazilian guys living in Czech Republic, doing a podcast that we tried to start in the beginning of the pandemic. No, actually, right before the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep.
And then the pandemic hit. And then we're like, drinking beer remotely. I don't think it's going to work out that well, right? We tried and so on and so forth. We had time to think about it, and we came to the conclusion that in English makes sense. So we switched the language from Portuguese to English because we all have a lot of friends from a lot of different countries. So that's where we discovered that the audio was not working. So we are caught up now, finally.
So now we can make a toast.
Right.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I was drinking already.
So cheers.
Cheers.
What are you guys drinking?
We are drinking Cherny Kozel, Dark Kozel,
Yes.
Czech beer. And you are with Birel. What's Birel?
I'm drinking Birel. It's the most standard non-alcoholic beer in Czech Republic. You can find this beer absolutely in every pub. Mm-hmm. So if you ask for non-alcoholic beer, you're going to find it. So that's easy. I might have to ask Siri to lower the intensity of this light here because it's blooming a little bit on the video. If it doesn't bother you guys, it's not going to bother me right now. So what are we going to talk about? Hold on. How much do you guys like this beer? Is it sweet for you?
The Birel or the Kozel?
Mm-hmm.
The Kozel?
The Kozel, the dark one.
It is not so sweet. I think among the dark beers, it's the best one. I had dark beers that were a lot sweeter than this.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, for me, the dark beers were always kind of sweet. Mm-hmm. It feels almost that I'm drinking rapadura.
Yeah.
Rapadura is like a block sugar that we have in Brazil. It's before processing the sugar. It's like brown.
It's a block of sugar.
It's a block of sugar.
Block of brown sugar.
Yeah.
If you take Guinness,
hard
for
block.
example, it's like a breakfast. Almost.
Yes, it is. But I
super
don't
heavy.
feel the Guinness sweet at all. I feel like I'm drinking dark chocolate with some alcohol. Yeah, that's how I feel when I drink. It's like coffee / dark chocolate taste together with some beer in the background. And oh man, that's just so yummy for me.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Guinness, to be honest.
You don't like Guinness?
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying
What?
I have mixed feelings.
I'm only like Guinness in a pub down. A pub that's hidden, that is playing some rock and roll, and that's it.
In Ireland or in Czech Republic?
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
In Ireland will be a little bit better,
Yeah.
but in Czech Republic, hard to say because Czech beer is so good that it's hard to go to Guinness and switch.
It is, but it's almost... sometimes I feel like I don't want to call Guinness a beer, per se. I want to call it a drink that generally is associated with beer and probably is a beer for all intents and purposes. But when we compare to these beers that we have here, I feel like Guinness stands on it by itself on a completely separate group, and I don't know any other beer that comes close. And you're like, this is kind of like Guinness, because that Cosell is not like Guinness, right?
No, it's definitely
Guinness
not like Guinness.
lager? Or is it
No, Guinness is, I think
stout,
it's more like
right?
a stout.
Yeah.
Stout is ale or lager? I don't remember.
I think it's more to the ale.
If it's an
Yeah, it's
ale,
heavy beer.
that's the difference.
We're gonna
Yeah.
see Vitinho coming here and writing a block of text, educating us in what exactly
Right.
is a stout and a lager, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. And funny enough, we have our two of our partners here have worked, and one of them still works at a beer company. So maybe they should be
Guiding us.
yeah. And Anna is saying here, dark Cosell is delicious, but mostly mixed with light one like Rzezani.
Oh, yeah.
So in Czech Republic, you have this thing. You can go to a pub and ask for what's the name of the person the tapper?
The waiter?
person, well, the person that is pouring the beer for you.
Yep.
And you can ask for a Rzezani that they're going to mix a dark beer with a light beer. And oh my God, that tastes so sweet for me. It's like undrinkable for me. And it's a lot of women order that. I ordered once because I wanted to try and I couldn't drink.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. I just didn't like it at all.
I can't drink.
You
It's my
can?
favorite. No.
Do you want me to mix a little bit of mine and yours?
No, don't destroy my beer. With your
See, he's like,
With your
oh yeah, you can
wannabe
drink
beer.
it. I can drink it, but no, don't mess up with my
No,
beer.
but yours doesn't have alcohol, so it's gonna spoil.
Oh, come
yours is
on.
wannabe beer.
Yeah.
Wanna beer.
Well, okay, in that subject about wannabe beer, is this a beer or not? Because what in my book, what classifies a beer is not the alcohol. Is
The process.
it's the process and the other it is the hops and the other thing the
Malt.
hops malt no the other thing
Malt.
It's
the
malt,
barley.
malt made
Yeah,
of barley.
All right, okay, so both are correct.
But one thing I need to admit, beer ale is better than 99% of Brazilian beers.
Yeah.
Right, and if you can easily introduce a beer ale to a person that has never drank beer before, and like, here's your beer, and maybe they can't drink alcohol, maybe they don't want to drink alcohol, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be just fine with
Yeah,
the beer ale.
we actually have a few colleagues from different religions that they cannot drink alcohol. And this is what happens. They just take the beer ale and they drink the beer with us in the pub, and that's it.
And
Yeah.
usually they don't like it. The same way that we didn't like beer the first time that we
Right.
tried.
Beer
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah, in the
really
beginning.
an acquired taste, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I started drinking beer in Czech Republic because water was too expensive out in the night in the parties. I was like a totally broke person. I didn't have money to buy drinks, and I was thirsty. I was dancing and sweating. So a friend of mine would like, hey, do you wanna sip of my beer? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm very thirsty, and that's how I started drinking beer. It was totally an acquired taste.
Yeah, that's the
It took me
beauty of
forever.
Czech Republic. That explains a lot why it's the highest consumption of beer per capita in the world.
For
right?
like every year consecutive,
Every year.
like
And it's
for every
by
that
far,
has
by
been
far.
measured.
Yeah, and it's by far like it's really far from the second place.
Well, over here we need to keep this average, right?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not partaking so much lately. I stopped drinking alcohol, so that's why I'm drinking a non-alcoholic. And actually, on the next one, I would like to try the Bernard non-alcoholic because that one is pretty good as well. So I have a small list of non-alcoholic beers that I've tried in the past, and I want to try them live. So obviously, Birel is the most classic one here.
That's a famous one.
Yes, and it's the one that you can find everywhere. The Bernard you will only find in a pub that's a Bernard labeled pub, that they don't serve any other beer. And then there is a Weiss beer they have at Beer Geek. That's also pretty good. I can't remember right now what's the
What's the name?
Yeah, what's the name of the beer? There is Paulaner also makes a non-alcoholic. There are a few. Not
Erdinger, I
many.
think they also have. We have a friend who is living in Erding right now. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Wow, I would like to try that one as well because I love Erdinger in any case.
By the way, I think it was beginning of this month. Kozel released a zero alcohol, 0 alcohol. So
Oh, amazing.
This week they were giving some in the metro station.
what?
Yes.
Yeah, things that you only see in Czech Republic, right?
Czech Republic. Oh my God. So you're telling me that you're going to work
Yes.
and they're handing out beers
Yes.
in the metro station.
Yes. Non-alcoholic, but beers.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't have mentioned this. It's a good thing that there are not that many people watching right now. Because you know what? If you start telling people in the US, in other countries, that you come to Czech Republic and people are giving out beers in the metro, I think we're going to have like an extreme importation of people. No,
Like
what's the word?
Immigration.
Immigration.
I will not complain. If good people want to join us,
I swear it's non-alcoholic.
But that reminds me, I don't remember which country it is, if it's Slovenia or I don't know. They had a fountain in the main square,
Wow.
which was a beer.
Sounds like
And it
České
just-
Budějovice.
No, it's not in Czech
It was
Republic.
not
I
Czech
was
Republic.
surprised it was not in Czech Republic.
I saw
But
this a few years ago.
Yeah, I saw this a few years ago. You could just go there.
Maybe
and
Slovenia
take
or Estonia. Well,
Could be
Wow,
Estonia. Could be Estonia.
I have a
something.
friend, a YouTuber as well, that he is moving to Slovenia.
Oh, so he can tell us.
He will be able to confirm very soon. Joseph, if you're watching this, you're probably not. But he's a whiskey drinker, a wine drinker. I don't know if he drinks beer, but he would be a cool person
Probably
to have.
yes. If he
to
drinks
have
wine,
around.
drink whiskey. But probably.
Drink everything, right? Just bring it
Yeah,
on.
Just bring it on.
Jessica saying here, there was an initiative in Czech Republic that the police was giving non-alcoholic beers to the drivers that were approved on the alcohol test. Bizarre. Okay, again, Czech Republic. So you have police giving out non-alcoholic beer. It's beer, nonetheless. Hey, drink this beer. Try the test. Hey, see, you pass. You can drive. But the thing is here. In Czech Republic, there is a zero tolerance for drinking and driving. So it starts right there. So if you have zero tolerance and it's the nation that drinks beer the most, you have to have non-alcoholic beer, right? Now, I'm going to step away from my little seat here. I'm going to adjust a couple of things. You guys continue talking, and I'll be right back.
Yep. Go.
All right. So, beer, driving. What could be the solution if we want to drink, but still drive, or not drive per se, but we should not. But I
Non-alcoholic
know
beer.
there is like Uber nowadays. Helps a lot.
Quite well.
Yeah, back in the days we didn't
At
have
least
that.
here in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is one service here in Czech Republic that I haven't seen in other places. I don't know if you know.
Modrý anděl.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Yes.
The Blue
The
Angel.
driver?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
The Blue
So
Angel.
You actually call kind of a taxi, but comes a car with two people. One of them will drive your car back to your home.
Yeah, that's amazing because
That's pretty cool.
You still have the handy thing about being able to get to the place with your car, and you don't leave your car behind somewhere
Exactly.
that you probably don't want to pick up the next morning or something like that, right?
If it's something far or something like that.
Yeah. So
Another solution that Jessica is mentioning here, autonomous car. Do you know something
Wow.
about it, Fernando?
wouldn't that be nice?
A little bit.
So tell us about it. No, I mean, the simple fact that at some point the cars are going to be able to drive for us and take us to places and be safer. Not there yet. It will be pretty good.
Don't
right?
tell that to Alan. Go on.
Well, yeah, I'm telling him in his face right now it's not safe.
Yeah.
Well, actually, honestly, people are to be blamed a little bit too, right? It's like it's saying there, hey, when you switch this on, keep your hands on the wheel and stay. You should still pay attention on the road. And people literally do everything the opposite. Okay, I will put my hands away and I will go to sleep.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, because it's saying that that's not what is meant for yet.
Who reads the manual nowadays?
Well, there is the warning screens that say, hey, 3 times, and then
Warning
go for it.
screens are made for you to
Being
cancel them.
ignored.
Yes. This is the most common mistake of
Yeah. So
everyone.
I think there is an interface issue. So, for example, seeing as people ignore those warnings, the interface issue being we have to get to a point in which it's dumb-proof, right? Dummy-proof. So the user have absolutely no say in it, and we're far from that. Would
Yeah.
be level 5, right? I mean,
Level 4.
would you trust that level 4 is enough for the person to literally?
Do you know
Who
what's
do
the
you trust?
difference between level 4 and level 5?
Well, the level 5 is there is a
Higher.
TV show called Extant.
Yeah.
That would be level 5, in which you just come in and say, "Hey, I'm going to that place." The car closes the door, drives away.
Depends. The level 4 can do that in a city, in an environment that it's known. The difference between the level 4 and level 5 is that the level 5 can do that in the middle of the desert.
So
So if you throw your car in the middle of the desert, like literally in the middle of nowhere, there are no roads, there are no buildings, no people, it can get out of there.
that's the only one I would trust. Do you know why? Because you just said a very important word, known. Today, they were cleaning the street here in my home. So for a level 4, almost every day that's known. Today was an unknown. So today that level
Why?
4 wouldn't, well, because there were signs saying that you can't park the car in the street. So you basically can't be trafficking in the street while they're cleaning. There
Okay.
you have people that are doing stuff. So, hey, I'm going home. I need to park. Today you couldn't park here. So you can't go home really. So it's
Okay,
very
so-
unknown.
The level 4, it will drive you here because you are in the city. It will get here, you still have a street, you still have road edges like the curbs.
Sure.
You still
You have the traffic
people.
signs.
The signs is there.
Mm-hmm.
The people are there. It will recognize people. It will recognize the road. Simple fact, they recognize the road. It knows there is a path for it. That's the level 4. You have a city that in the near future, probably farther than near, but you're gonna have infrastructure communication with the vehicles as well.
Right. Do you think that's really going to happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming already.
Okay, so, I'll give it. Maybe level 4 is fine. But would level 4 be like, what about in terms of responsibility of
And
people?
one more question to you before talking about responsibility. What do you trust more? A level 4 or even a level 3 or a human being?
I think, well, if... Okay, if level 4 would work as intended and as specified by these 5 levels of autonomy, I would trust level 4 more than a human. For so many reasons, I think we are so distant to get into level 4 that everything else everything that's missing to add safety will come to fruition by the time that we get to level 4. It will be mandatory, right? So, like you said, communication between what is on the car to car and
Road to car.
Road to car, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think I would trust level 4 more than a person.
We are calling it V2X, so it's a vehicle to anything.
Okay, yeah.
It can be vehicle to vehicle to VRU, which is like pedestrians and other humans, vehicle to infrastructure, and vehicle to cloud as well.
I hope they're not talking about 5G right now.
Yeah,
Because 5G is like...
it's already.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's already running.
This is gonna be a completely different thing. I mean,
Your
5G is not...
amazing experience.
No, here's the thing. 5G is a good technology, sure. The way it's being sold and marketed is not what you get. Now, for car companies, maybe they are going to come into agreement with the cell phone providers, and they probably are going to go over the hurdles that a person normally has. So maybe that's fine. But the requirement of 5G is only latency, and latency is still pretty high because the infrastructure, they only added the antennas and they didn't upgrade the infrastructure as it should have been to allow for very low latency.
Mm-hmm. But that's why for the testing and the validation of this, the automotive companies, I'm not going to say just the manufacturers, because the tier 1s and some tier 2s as well, and the
What's tier 1 and tier 2?
So you have an OEM, which is the manufacturer, Volkswagen, Skoda,
All the brands that
Tesla,
you know.
all the brands that you know, that you go and buy the car, there is their symbol there. Tier 1s are the first level supplier. So they are the ones directly selling whatever it is to this manufacturer, to this guy that will assemble into the car. And then you have a tier 2, which is a supplier to the tier 1, right? It's just the ladder. And all these levels, they already have, or they are building at least, laboratories with a closed 5G, a real 5G. In a closed space.
Good point there. The real 5G, not the 5G that we are getting on our phones.
No. It's a different story.
Yeah.
It's the real 5G, right? Because that's the only way that you can actually test something,
right,
and validate it without interference. And once you go to the real world, you say, "Look, but my system is working, so there is something infrastructure provider."
But
you
the
come
world
to
is full of
and,
interference.
Yeah, but then you can come to Vodafone and say, "But my system is working. I validated in a controlled environment. So if there's some interference, it's coming from your side."
Yeah, well,
And
that's
this
going to take a
could
long time.
push the real 5G to be implemented.
Plus there is the safety reason, right? Once you have an internet or intranet or whatever connection that you may call it, you start talking about cybersecurity. So you need to control your environment to make sure that no one is going to hack into that during the development.
Right. Just wanted to comment one thing here. Our setup that we're using, a wide camera, my close-up, Riccardo's close-up, and Fernando's close-up. Here's the deal. These are all 4 completely different cameras of varied price ranges here. So we just put this together with tape. So just for you to have an idea, there is
taping cables, a lot of cables.
Camera. There is a 4K GH5 as the wide camera here that I bought back in 2017. Then there is the Sony A1 that I bought more recently last year. Then on Riccardo's angle here, we have an iPhone, my iPhone, that's going to the ATEM. And then for Fernando here, I have a webcam, which is the Insta360. So I'm not switching the cameras as often just because they're so very different. But sometimes you're going to see that change there. But back to the cars.
Also, the microphones are quite different, right?
The 3 microphones are very different. I'm trying to push them to buy the same microphone as I'm using here. But for now, me and my girlfriend, we had these microphones, very different qualities between them. But I hope you guys can hear us really well. And we are being a lot more conservative today than we were before. Before, by now, we have been live here for half an hour. in the past,
Half
we
an
would
hour
be
already?
on
Okay.
the second to the third beer by now. And I remember that we even mentioned that we should have been doing smaller doses, so we would go through different beers. I think it makes much more sense that we're just drinking one beer per episode. Otherwise, we're going to run out of beer soon. Right.
Right. I don't think we're gonna run out of beer. I think we're gonna get drunk here, and no one will be able to understand what we're saying
Right.
anymore, or at least not follow the ideas anymore.
This could be a cultural difference on language. Brazilians used to talk on top of the others, interrupt the others. And
Americans do that a lot too.
we are Brazilians. When we speak Portuguese, we have this coded in our brains back there. But now that we are living here, most of the time speaking English.
I don't know. I
This
think
could
it,
change the brain. The
I don't
language could change the brain.
Or it could-
it could, but
I see what you mean.
Yes.
Before we were speaking Portuguese here, so we were all over the place.
Yes.
Now the fact that we're speaking in English,
We
we
are
switched
more-
to the way we actually behave in our daily lives, because Europeans, they will say, "Hey, can you let me finish what I'm saying?"
All the
Before
time.
you start interrupting me. I think you have a point. I think that makes total sense that that we are interrupting less because of that.
But also, I think it's a bit of experience, right? The last Pivocast, we heard a lot of people saying like, "Hey, I could understand because you guys were talking at the same time." So I think we are trying to let the other finish. At least I am.
There's a podcast that I listen to, the Vergecast, and people were complaining about exactly the same thing. They were all in the same room. They're having conversation. They start talking on top of each other, and then the listener is like, "I have no idea what's going on." It's a cacophony. Yeah,
What?
a cacophony.
Cacophony.
Yes.
Culture.
I don't know. How is that in Portuguese? I don't know.
Cacofonia.
Cacophony. Okay,
It's the
yeah, it's
same.
very similar. Yeah, but it's a jumble of. It's a goulash of sounds.
Can I change the subject?
Absolutely.
What about Vegas?
Yeah, you were in Vegas.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I know
was
they
in
say
Vegas.
what happens there
You know,
stays
yeah.
there, but please share what you can.
I can share everything.
Ooh.
I was going to say nothing much happened, but a lot of things happened. So I don't even know where to start. First of all, I decided to go to Vegas because the NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters show, was happening, which is basically the biggest event during the whole year for people that do what I do. And my idea was to basically network with people, meet new people, talk to vendors, see what's new, obviously. And that was plan number one because, well, new year, it's always good to look for new businesses and so on and so forth. But then I was like, okay, I'm already going. Why don't I go and create content for my channel? That was the plan. And I can tell you, the plan didn't work out. So I got a little frustrated when I was there. But the whole thing was expensive because also I got spoiled. Last year I started traveling in business class, and it makes such a huge difference when you're traveling across time zones, many time zones, because 9 hours difference between Czech Republic and the United States. If I fly economy, I can guarantee that I barely work the first 3 days because I'm all sore, couldn't sleep,
Jet lag.
and then the jet lag. So all of that gets together in one. When I travel business, I'm actually able to go to sleep at the time that people are asleep at my destination. And immediately during the flight, I start trying to get used to that time, start trying to eat at that time. And then obviously because I was able to sleep some good 5 or 6 hours laying flat, then I arrive with a lot more energy there. So then the day that I arrive, I'm able to do something. So the night I arrived there, I landed in Las Vegas at 6 p.m. At 6:30, I was at a dinner with some 30 people.
Wow.
And there I was interacting with everyone and
Yeah.
so on. And they're like, wow, you came directly from the airport? I'm like, yep. Straight from the
It
airport
makes a
here.
big difference.
And then,
I agree.
of course, I didn't sleep a full night that night. But then in the morning, I was ready to go and woke up early, 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. I was already up. Tried to go to the gym, discovered the gym only was opening at 7:30. I'm like, come on, what's up with that?
Just one interruption. After all this promotion of the business class advantage, you should buy me a ticket for next week. I'm going to Brazil. It's a long flight.
But it's on vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so vacation, you don't need to arrive all in one piece.
Basically, what he's saying is screw you.
Well, the thing is,
on,
Anna and I, we
sponsor
were
me.
looking for vacation trips as well. And every time that we were looking for, we always look on economy because you can afford arriving all totally broken on the other end. And it's just too expensive for vacation.
Yeah.
For business, I can justify that, right? Because see it this way, the money that I make with my company, that money is only mine after I paid 2 rounds of taxes, the income tax for my company and then dividend taxes. So a lot of times I don't pocket the money at all. I just leave it with the company. So the NAB trip is a business expense. So then it's easier to justify. And
Instead of paying taxes, you're paying the business.
exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
Probably you would pay
exactly.
the difference just on taxes to pocket it.
Yes, so that's where my calculus comes from.
course.
Like, should I fly economy and give the rest of the money to the state, or should I just use the whole money and have as much benefit for myself as possible, right? So that's more or less where it's coming from. And over time, it doesn't give you an immediate return, this type of investment, but it returns. I mean, the people that I get to meet, the relationships that I start cultivating.
You're actually in shape to work. You're functional
yeah.
when you get there, so you can be yourself. It's not just a zombie that you just arrived and want to have a shower.
Yeah, and I can
sleep.
tell you, in the past when I was traveling and arriving in economy, I always told people, like, don't expect me to do much work in the first 2 or 3 days because I would be totally broken.
Yeah.
And then I got a little smarter and started pushing for business class tickets.
Yeah, I think if it's a business trip, it pays off.
No, it totally does. And a lot of companies have policies such as if your flight is over 8 hours or 9 hours, then you get business.
Yep.
Because the expectation is that you're going to arrive and start working immediately. So if that's the expectation, you should at least be able to have a proper sleep. Because, well, that's a lot of work to put you out of your own home, out of your own bed, and go somewhere else entirely and saying, hey, now we want you to perform. It's
It's difficult.
It's tough.
It's very difficult. Yep, been there, done that. I know how
Yep.
it feels. It's
so
horrible.
I got there. I got to NAB. And then literally the biggest problem of all that we had, everything was planned on, we're going to film and then we're going to get that 4K media. We're going to compress it. We're going to make it very small and we're going to upload that because they're going to be
4K?
very
You were
small.
planning to film in 8K, no?
I personally was filming 8K and I was compressing that down to 4K, 720p, 1080p. So I had a wide gamut of resolutions and file sizes. And I would only upload the smallest one. But 8 a.m. at the press conference, at the press room, we connect and test the upload speed. Oh, it's actually not that bad. It's uploading at 2 megabytes a second. That's not too bad. I mean, we're gonna be able to do this.
But
Awesome.
it was empty, right?
Great,
No
it was
other-
empty. This was the first day. The first hour, without almost anyone there.
Yeah.
And we had 2 megabytes.
That was like a wonderland.
Dude, I went walking to make a few B-roll shots. And then when I came back, I see people like losing their hair. And I'm like, wow, what's going on? The speed is so slow now. And I'm like, oh no, what's the speed? And then I go and test it myself. It's uploading at 50, 100 kilobytes a second.
Kilobytes.
Yep. And I was like, oh no, that's bad.
Make a hotspot from your phone, and it's gonna be better, right?
Later on, we ended up doing that. But
I'm
it cost a lot of money.
I'm almost hearing the modem connection, the dial up connection.
Man, that's what we had, and I couldn't believe. And for hours, I stayed there trying to find a way to increase that speed, and nothing. File accelerators would accelerate a little bit, but not a lot. So my plans, because I had one of my friends, Rodrigo, he was waiting for the media for him to edit. Mm-hmm. So the plan was like, every 2 hours I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna upload a bunch of media. You're gonna have about like 3 booths at least to edit every 2 hours, and we were ready for that. For him, he waited the whole day, the first day, and nothing. Crap. Zero media.
Crap.
Now look how frustrating it is. The guy decides to help me and do all of that, and then he's there sitting and doing nothing. Like, I felt horrible. Like, dude,
of course.
It sucks.
And I feel horrible for him now.
Yeah. So immediately we had a quick call and said, dude, it's not happening. It's not happening the way we planned. So maybe we do a recap per day, and I upload it from the hotel overnight, and then by the time that you wake up in the morning, you have the media. The upload speed in the hotel was as crap as the one from the convention center.
This is a hotel. You cannot expect much.
The hotel was a little bit better. Fast forward 2 or 3 days, one of my friends says, "Oh, the hotel that I'm staying in has 400 megabits up and down."
Whoa!
Like, dude, where were you when we needed you? But one of the coolest things that happened, there were 2 cool things. 3 cool things that happened. Those are the biggest things for me for the whole trip. 4 things. It keeps on increasing, right?
Actually, it's gonna be 5. It's gonna be 5.
So the first one is I worked with Office Hours. Office Hours is a collective of broadcast film production people that have been doing this for longer than I've been alive. I'm one of the youngest one there. We all worked together to deliver 2 live shows of 2 hours in 2 days. So one day 2 hours, the second day 2 hours, and I was on camera as one of the field teams. So nice. We had the host that was like an anchor, and they were like, "Oh, let's go now for Felipe there in the show floor, and Felipe, who you have there?" And we would connect, and all of that was through cellular, with bonding devices. So basically, we had a bonding network device that gets the feed from 4 different modems, 5G modems, and aggregates the speed of the
bandwidth.
Yes. Whoa. And it was crazy that it worked, because literally half an hour before we went live, it was not working.
Looks like us.
And then
so we are in the right path.
And then it worked. It worked through. Yeah, we were not ready to go live here today until like 3 minutes before. So just saying.
The problem was your shirt.
Yes. Once I changed the shirt, it got better. So we did those 2 shows. It was excellent. I interacted on camera with obviously people from the booths, and there was another camera talent, a guy from Mexico, and people really liked him and I interacting there. So that was amazing thing number 1. It was excellent. Amazing thing number 2 is still related to Office Hours. We did what we think it was the first live HDR with surround sound test that has been done out there. So again, it was a live stream in HDR in 5.1 surround sound. And that was amazing.
That's a big bandwidth, right?
Yes, and it took a lot of people. Like, first of all, the cameraman, he was walking with a backpack that had the Live View, which is this network device for the camera. And he had a second backpack that had a mixer this big, super
Just for
heavy,
the surround.
just for the surround, because the surround was a ambiphonic microphone that has basically 4 microphones in one. So those 4 microphones go into that mixer. That mixer gets to our mixing person that is in the Philippines remotely. He does the mixing in the room that he has there and then pushes that to YouTube. And it's a very global team that we have for
I
office
can
hours.
see that.
Yeah. So that was Mickey. Mickey is amazing because I have no idea. He probably never slept throughout that week.
Yeah,
because
I was gonna
he
say
was
that
always
because
online.
yeah, but you know, like if we are 9 hours from what you were in Vegas,
Man,
that guy
it's
was
night today for him, I think. And the thing is, the microphone has a front because, well, you know, it's a surround microphone. And that front needs to always be pointing to the same
camera.
place that the camera is pointing. The thing is, those were 2 separate rigs. There is the cameraman with the camera, and there was me with the microphone. So there is some behind-the-scenes videos in which I'm walking with the microphone and looking at the camera, and as he moves around, I move the microphone around. But for whoever was watching that live, must have been super trippy, because imagine that the camera moves, but the microphone is moving with a delay. So
It should be like seeing a video with the sound.
Yes.
It's terrible.
But the general consensus was it was a lot more immersive as a show with the surround sound, because if you have just the microphones the way we normally do, you don't hear anything that's going on around. You hear the person very clearly, but you don't hear anything
so you
around.
don't have the feeling of the confidence.
You don't have the
You
feeling
don't
of
have
the
this
confidence.
feeling of
Yeah.
being there.
And
Right.
with the surround sound, we could hear the talents very clearly as well on camera, but we also had the ambient sound.
Next
So it
one
was
will be-
like if you were the camera there right in front of them. So you could hear a little band that is playing on your left behind you. You can hear people passing by around, and you would see them passing by around.
Next time will be with a VR.
Yeah, I mean, this is going that direction in a way, or at least 180 degrees, because 180 degrees is a lot easier to do. 180 degrees, you have your 45-degree angle of view, for example, and then you can look left and you can look right, but not behind. But I don't know if... I think more important will be a resolution and HDR and bitrate. So Alex Lindsay, one of the guys the main guy from Office Hours, he
Alex or
says...
Lindsay?
Alex Lindsay, altogether, one person.
So we have just a little bit of context. We have
Alex
we have a friend. His name is Alex, and he's married with an American girl called Lindsay. So
Alex Lindsay.
it's the couple in one person, basically.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to tell Alex that. the Alex Lindsay from Office Hours. Well, but he says the day that we get to 4K or to 8K 120 frames a second HDR, that's a changing game. Because when you see video in 8K 120 frames HDR, it's reality. And it's like looking out in a window.
Can I make a comment? Not so much about the show, but you were talking about the streaming and so on. There is, I don't know if you watch it, Welcome to Wrexham.
I haven't.
Yeah,
With
you
the
should. Yeah,
with
with
the Ryans, right?
Yeah. Anyways, about Wrexham, they played last weekend the game that settled the
The promotion.
the promotion. Thank you. The promotion to the professional football, like the first league.
Fifth.
So they were
whatever.
like the football team from Ted Lasso, that they were in a lower league and now they're
No,
in
much
the bigger
lower
league?
than that.
Much lower.
Much lower than.
It's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much from amateurs to
Yeah.
some professional
They-
level.
So
they
Ted
were-
Lasso is professional already.
Yeah. They were about to become mature players. Anyways, their goalkeeper got injured and they had to get a new goalkeeper. They ended up getting a guy that had already retired, but he was professional in the past, like a well-known guy, Ben Foster. And this guy,
How old was that guy?
I don't know.
I mean,
But-
retired. I think about like 60-year-old.
No. Football players retire much earlier than that.
Yeah, sure,
So
okay.
I would guess, I don't know, 30 something, 40. I don't know.
Oh, so way earlier than Romário retired.
Prob- Man, you're asking too much. The point is, in this last game, like this guy is a lot on social medias and streaming and so on. He likes that. He played with this with a camera on his chest. You know, this is small.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's from
Like-
Insta, right? The
Yes.
one that it's a magnetic thing you put inside the shirt.
Yeah.
And then you have a shirt here. You have the camera
Well,
here, which gets
my
180.
action camera is with a magnet as well.
Yeah,
The DJI Action Osmo thing.
I don't know
But
exactly
it
which
overheats,
one it
so
is.
for sure it wasn't that one.
Yeah, I don't know which one exactly it was, but part of the game he had that streaming, so you could actually have the feeling of being in the pitch.
That must have been really cool.
And I saw later one of these sport shows. They were interviewing him, and they mentioned exactly this point. Like, hey, but you had this camera. That's awesome, right? It was not in any official broadcast. It was on your channel, and he also had a GoPro behind the goal, like inside the goal, which no other TV had.
Wow.
And he said, I love streaming, and I think this actually is the future. I would love to see some professional player. Imagine the striker. He's going to go for a penalty, and he has a camera on his chest. You can see how it is for the guy who is actually playing his view. And he went even further. He said, imagine that you can add on top of that his heart rate.
Oh, yeah.
You see how he's feeling, like his emotions.
The heart rate we tried with Counter-Strike already. Like I when I was live streaming Counter-Strike, I had my heart rate during playing, and you could see going from like 90 during the play to, oh, you're the last one, and there are the three alive.
Clutch situation.
And then it like goes from 90 to 120, just on the expectation.
Yeah.
But you know what? So that brings you to like the Formula One experience, right?
Yeah, with the helmet camera.
that camera is
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
because
really cool.
but not only that, but the multi-screen experience. For example, the Apple TV now just had an update, or is about to have an update, that it's for the MLB season that's starting. You can have 4 videos at the same time, so you can basically have a multi-viewer on your TV, and that's interesting, right?
Officially, Formula One still doesn't have it, but there are some. There is another.
There is an app
There is an app. Yeah, it's a separate app.
that use the F1 TV official
Streaming,
account. You have to have the F1 TV official account, but he gets all the inputs, synchronize, and let you mount your dashboard
Yep.
and watch whatever you want.
So you can have exactly that. You can have the onboard of the driver. You can have the official broadcasting. You can have, I don't know, the telemetry. They're multi-screen. It's an incredible.
Yeah, but we were
synchronize
doing
it.
that without the apps, right? By just opening several
we can open several
browser
and
screens. Well, it's ugly, but
what he does besides creating the grid, it synchronizes the videos. So
Right.
when you open several browser
Tabs, yeah.
windows, browser tabs, you're not guaranteeing seeing everything synchronizing.
yeah.
It does the
So,
synchronization.
however, whatever he is doing to guarantee that is synchronizing is really hard, actually.
Yep.
That's really hard.
Yes.
That's great that there's
yeah,
someone doing that.
it's not an easy thing. But
I hope they buy his
And it's
company and
open
implement
source.
that officially on their own
And
website.
it's open source, and we have it on Linux, Mac, and Windows.
Nice. But yeah, having that for football would be great, right?
It would
Imagine
be
if
crazy.
you're like, oh, I want to keep an eye on this to attackers, players, whatever, and you're seeing their perspective, or on the penalty, actually, why not seeing the goalkeeper's perspective? That must be crazy. I mean, it would put you in a place that your heart rate would go higher even more than it normally does.
Yeah.
And I would love to just see that as picture-in-picture in the bottom, for example, of the screen, that I can be literally looking to the middle of the screen at where the action is happening. But within my view here, I have that smaller one in the bottom that just gives that different perspectives.
I think everybody will have a different preference.
Which
just,
will be
just
nice
make
to,
it available.
to be able to customize,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Just make it available and let everybody do the way they prefer to.
Right. So those were the two experiences that I had that were very cool related to office hours. So being live twice and then the HDR 5.1 test that we
that's pretty
did.
incredible.
The third experience that I really, really liked was that one of my friends, Joseph, he invited me to attend a dinner that he always hosts every year at NAB with content creators, or with basically YouTubers. So I was very happy that he included me in that, and I was able to actually meet, or at least see, in the same room as me, some of the YouTubers that I follow myself. And I was
That's
like,
nice.
I was wondering if I would see any of the ones that I already follow, and I did, and I was able to talk to some of them. But obviously, you don't want you're there. Everyone's a content creator. Some bigger, some smaller, but everyone is there. And,
Some babies.
Yeah. So no one was like filming anything. So obviously, those things don't exist.
We were talking about this event
Yes.
a couple of days ago, and I asked, for me there is two types of this party.
Yeah.
Either there is no cameras at all,
Yeah.
or everyone is filming.
Yeah, and that happened both, right? So most of the time, when everyone is talking and hanging out and so on, no one had cameras on. And then the thing is, this party was a house party from one of the vendors. They had rented a house outside of the strip, and when we got to the house right after the dinner, we got in the house. Oh, you want more beer?
Yeah.
If you want to pick up the beer while I continue telling the story.
You're fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to the house and they said, oh, the party is downstairs, is in the basement. And me and the other people that were in the same car, we looked at each other like, I'm having some The Purge vibes coming from this.
I will lose my kidney.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like The Purge or American Horror Story or anything like that. It felt like this doesn't look good. And one of the guys that was with us was like a very nice black guy, and he was like, the comment that you would expect in a movie. You know what? I'm the first one to die in this type of movie. And we were laughing so much, but we walked downstairs to the basement. And then we got to the basement. Dude, imagine a basement. Fernando's still getting the beer. You know already the story, but tell me, if you didn't know the story, what would you expect to see in a basement in the US?
The basement in the US.
Man's cave.
Yeah, it could be, but remember, they're just renting from someone on Airbnb or something like that, right? Pole dance.
Pole
Okay,
dance.
okay. Fernando's thinking of a pole. That's the first thing that he thinks about when he goes down there. Okay. Okay.
Probably a bunch of tools, dirt. And
Oh, that's the basement that I normally think about.
Yeah.
But if you think about a very nice American house basement, you think like maybe a home theater, right? Maybe a big TV, carpet, a sofa. So I'm thinking, okay, there's probably not a lot of people there. A basement, after all. Fernando, what you think about when you think about basement in the United States?
Pool table, huge TV, sofa,
Man's
bar.
cave. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was all of that. But the first thing that you would notice as soon as you go down is a bowling alley.
Bowling.
Bowling. A full bowling alley with two lanes. That's the first thing you're like, what the?
Pool table, I understand it can fit. Bowling. What was the size of this basement?
So to the left there was a bar, okay, normal bar. In front of us there was this bowling alley. Right next to the bowling alley there was a room, and we were like, oh, that person is not sleeping tonight. And then to the right side there was a long space. There was a big space that had a room to the right that had a pool table in a separate room that had a completely different vibe. And then you would walk.
Second intentions.
Yeah, and then if you go to the beginning of the bowling lane, you would see behind it a little waterfall, and that the water for that waterfall was falling to a jacuzzi, right behind the bowling lanes.
What should I do to live
That's
there?
a man's cave. Respect.
What should I
That's
do to live there?
Respect.
There is more. There is more.
There's more.
And then you got there. So you have the bowling alley to your left. In the corner, there is the little waterfall with the jacuzzi. And then to the right, there is a table of air hockey.
I want it.
Child
I
here.
want it. Yeah, of course.
I
I
was
want
playing
it.
all the
I
time. I
want
played
it.
with a lot of people. And at some point, we were playing with 2 pucks to be cooler, you know, to be more fun.
And with both hands as well.
No, just one hand. Yeah, at some point we wanted to do both hands, but I would like to complicate it. And then right next to the air hockey, there was do you know that sport curling? Mm-hmm. There was a mini curling table there.
Table.
Yeah, it's curling on a table. There was a stone that was slippery and little metal discs that were very heavy, and they were slide.
Did you have the hand broom?
The broom? Yeah, no, but it was funny. We wanted to have, and then there was a sauna. There was a sauna there somewhere.
Can I open
Yes.
Just a second?
Do you wanna go there? Oh, ASMR.
Yours nicer.
Okay, the guys are pouring some.
This is an IPA
From which brand? It's
from
a
Bernard.
Yeah, Bernard IPA.
It's one of the
both
nicest
them.
IPA that you can find in the regular supermarket here.
Yeah, and how much did it cost? I feel like I need to go pee.
I don't know, 30 or 40 crowns. I think 40.
So
maybe.
like between
around
2 euros
one
Less
up to
than
2
40
euros.
crowns. Less than 40 crowns.
Yeah, just under 2 euros.
Yeah. All right. So
Half a
then
liter, okay?
there was a window, like right next to the jacuzzi, and next to the tables there was a window, and when you would look down on that window, remember you're already in the basement. You would look down at the window. It was a basketball court. No kidding.
No.
Not a full court, but there was
The half.
Yeah,
Like
half
second
half.
play.
Yeah, it was a half basketball court. Dude,
Street ball.
it was like insane. And then one of the guys comes here. Oh, everyone that comes here for the first time, you need to try to throw the ball on the hoop from the window here. So the hoop was probably 15 meters away and down. And I was like, I would never hit that. So my friend went first, like obviously wrong. My ball went so close to getting in that the guy that gave us the ball...
If someone takes this sentence out of context, it can be very dangerous.
Okay, no. I don't even remember what I said.
Your ball was closer to something.
Yeah, to the
Close
hoop.
to get in.
And the hoop. So, the guy gave me the ball. He saw my friend throwing and far. When I threw, this guy, like, he was moving away, and suddenly he's like, whoa, almost went in. Like, it would have been crazy if the ball would go in. But it didn't. Anyway, so that was experience 3. That was amazing. And experience number 4, cheers, was the last day that I was there. Didn't have anything to do. And this same friend that hosted dinner, he was like, oh, I have a new video that I need to make, a new review. I have some gear here that I have that didn't come out yet. And shall we go somewhere and film? And I'm like, great, let's go. And I was with another 2 friends of mine that I made from office hours. One of them is a filmmaker that has been traveling the United States on a van for the past 2 years, filming in every single state. He's making a documentary.
Typical.
And the other one was helping him. So those were David and Edwin. And they were like, yeah, we can join you guys too. And suddenly we're like, okay, we have a van. Should we go somewhere? So then we went to the Red Rock National Park. And that was amazing. That was an amazing day.
From the basement to the van, it's horror movie, but
Oh no! When we were leaving the house
Opposite.
that
the
evening,
opposite direction.
that night when we were leaving
One
the house,
horror movie.
the door was locked. We were trying to leave, and then we were like,
In the basement
there
or in the
will be a
van?
chainsaw coming very soon.
In the basement or the van?
No, and in the house, we went up to leave the house, and then the house was locked, and we were like, man, there will be a chainsaw massacre happening here very soon. So it was very funny.
If anything, you hide in the
Yeah.
jacuzzi.
And then we were getting a ride from a girl called Rocky, and she was like, "Hey, don't mind my car. It's a little like it's falling apart, but I have a lawyer." And I was like, "What?
What?
So yeah, it's gonna get fixed very soon. I have a lawyer." I'm like, your lawyer fixes your car? I swear, none of us had a drink. These were all like very sober people.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe in the United States, if you watch a TV show that is happening in Las Vegas, you see the outdoors. They always have like an advertisement for a lawyer, injury lawyer, and whatever lawyer. Maybe
Need a lawyer.
everything
seen-
gets arranged through a lawyer.
I've seen in Miami as well. Like everything is like, oh, you have a lawyer for this, you have a lawyer for that. Like the marketing for lawyers there is incredible.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call
Better Call
Saul.
Saul, yeah.
Saul definitely came. We asked like, is your lawyer called Saul?
That would be awesome.
Does he have a friend called Mike? Is Mike gonna take care of your car? So it went that direction. So it was an amazing
Or
experience.
the person who did something to your car.
Yeah. So NAB was great. I mean, the trip to Las Vegas was great. I attended the show. I met a lot of people. I participated on cool stuff. Got to see a little bit of the desert, and came back with this extra experience. Even though this was my third time in Las Vegas.
One question that I have for this conference, you were talking about it for some time. You didn't mention anything that happened inside the conference. Or
Right.
neither any amazing technology or
That's a funny
something that
thing.
was
What happens in Vegas?
That's a funny
stays in
thing
Vegas.
because my plan was to create content, right? And at some
Yes.
point, I was sitting more time trying to troubleshoot stuff than actually walking the show floor. And every time that I ended up walking the show floor was to go live on camera. So in fact, I barely walked the show floor by myself to look at stuff. If I try to think here, there were the official buzzword for the show was AI. AI was on everyone's minds. A lot of vendors were talking about AI. I mean, with OpenAI stuff that has been GPT and Whisper and so on, a lot of people are thinking about ways of how you integrate that into your services. But when you would see the show floor, the biggest thing were LED screens. That was everywhere, many vendors. One of the problems that you have, okay, let me back up. In the past, we were doing movies and TV shows on green screen, and then we would replace that green screen with something. Nowadays, a lot of things are being shot in what's called a volume, which is basically a stage with LED screens all around, on the top and all around. And those LED screens are mapped to the position of the camera. So as the camera moves, the images on the screen also move to create that parallax that would be normal on a normal set or something.
normal view.
Yes. Problem is, we shoot with cameras that are so high resolution that whenever the background is supposed to be in focus, we start seeing what's called moire, which is when the camera is able to see the individual pixels. And because they are very close together, they start creating an optical illusion. Like you've seen that before when people use pinstripe shirts and they go on TV and you don't see the stripes properly. They start mixing out and
Some
they
blur.
have... Yeah,
It's kind of blurred.
Yeah, when you look online for the word moire, which is MOIRE, you're gonna see pictures of what it looks like. It's basically a lot of very thin lines together, and they start making a lot of different shapes and so on. And because the cameras are so high resolution, they are able to pick up those pixels. So the biggest technology improvement that we are expecting and seeing now in these shows is pixel pitch being smaller. So basically the size of the pixel itself being smaller. On
To
most of
avoid
these
this kind of
screens,
things, you mean?
yeah, on most of these screens, the ones that we see a lot. I don't know in Hollywood which is the pixel pitch that they use, but it was around 2 millimeters per pixel. But now you imagine like huge screens, and you're significantly far away from the screen. So 2 millimeters is not a lot, but it matters for the camera. They had 0.9 millimeter LED screens there and 0.7 millimeter pitch, pixel pitch screens. So they were a big thing because anyone that is there that works with high budget productions, they want it. And all of these companies are able to make any shape of the LED. They can make it circular.
Damn.
Yeah. And Las Vegas
Circular,
itself, dude, Las Vegas, have you watched Altered Carbon?
Yep.
Altered Carbon, Las Vegas is getting to look like that. The hotels, they have LED screens that are the whole hotel.
Wow.
Yes, they are massive. It's bright everywhere. I wish I could be showing some images here, but I didn't edit anything. But it is super bright, and it looks like it's day the whole time in Las Vegas. So LED screens are gonna, they're gonna sell a lot. One of the vendors even stopped me in the show floor, like, hey, we cannot be here in the show floor because we are actually the manufacturers that everyone is using. Do you want to come and see our stuff? Yes.
So big this screen is.
I have contact directly from the manufacturer. He's like, we are able to undercut them by 30%. Yeah. So those are the things that can happen in the show floor in Las Vegas. But yeah, I didn't walk a lot. So I talked to a few vendors. I know of a few things that are coming. Nothing that will blow everyone's minds, but yeah, it was fun. But most vendors said that it was worth for them to be at NAB.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right, we've been going on for more than an hour here. I think it's time to wrap up, like people already disconnected. How's this beer, by the way?
Not even our partners can stand for so long.
No, they can't. They're like, what the fuck? Oops, sorry, shouldn't have said that. No monetization. Oh, we don't monetize this anyway.
Bernard beer is a long time that I don't drink it. I used to like a lot when I came to Czech Republic, but
It's not bad. It's not bad,
It's
but,
not bad, but
we tasted better IPAs, I think.
yes, it's a decent IPA, but nothing special. I used to like it much more.
Is it correct to assume that you would classify this IPA as more like the commercial IPA beer, just like you classify Pilsner Urquell and Gambrinus and Kozel?
No,
It's-
for me, Pilsner
Pilsner
is the benchmark. For
It's
Pilsner.
the benchmark, but it's the commercial. You can find better ones than that. But
I'm
they
not
normally,
sure. Pilsen?
from small breweries, for sure.
Okay.
Because the thing is, for me, correct me if I'm wrong, I only had good IPAs when they were from microbreweries.
Yes.
In very nice little pubs somewhere. But commercial IPAs, for me, are always so disgusting. And this one is
I
pretty
wouldn't
good.
say they're disgusting, but they don't taste that good.
Disgusting.
No, I mean, they're not as good as
the-
from the
yeah.
microbreweries one.
Yeah. And I think it's because IPA, the way they are making it, it can vary so much, right? It's like the beer is your canvas. Do whatever you want. Make it as aromatic as you want, as alcoholic as you want. I love when beer. One thing that I like about beers in Czech Republic, not so alcoholic as is in other countries. All right then.
Depends on the beer, but yeah, mostly
Yeah, when you get a Pilsner, it's like 4 point
it's okay.
something. And then if you get a normal beer in the United States, 6. Yeah, you don't drink anything for less than 6 in the United States. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right then. So I guess
That's it.
thank you
That's it
for
for today.
watching.
Thank you very much for watching. Let us know how do you like it. If you
Give
think
some-
we should
give us-
continue with it.
Give us some feedback, positive, negative.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. Give the like for us if you like it. If you dislike it, give the like anyway, and we'll know.
Yeah, give a like and leave the comment.
I didn't
The
like it.
comment. Yeah.
Now I remember what I forgot about to prepare here. A scene to cut the live stream. So I'm gonna make this very abrupt. Thank you very much.
See
Bye bye.
you,
See you.
bye.
Bye.